Our South African courts are again expected to be busy this year, with a number of high-profile cases set to be heard. Thabo Bester's prison escape and the trial of Kirsten Kluyts' murder-accused Bafana Mahungela are likely to keep South Africans glued to their screens. Newzroom Afrika's Mnisi has more.
The court rolls in criminal courts are laden with what have proven to be compelling cases. The year 2023 ended with one intriguing case of a Joburg teacher, Kirsten Kluyts, murdered while taking part in the My Run event in Parkmore. A 21-year-old student, Bafana Mahungela, is accused of murdering the teacher and not only stripping her of her clothes, but also wearing them. In December, Mahungela was denied bail after the court found that the state proved a prima facie case on premeditated murder and that he failed to prove exceptional circumstances that permit his release on bail. The 21-year-old is facing charges of premeditated murder, robbery with aggravating circumstances, and rape. If found guilty, at least on the charge of planning and executing the murder of the Joburg teacher, Mahungela could spend the rest of his life behind bars.
I think the case against him is a little bit difficult, but what I'm still interested in, one, is if there is DNA evidence, is there something that proves that his DNA evidence is on the victim or the deceased? And I think that will determine the strength of this case, because obviously, one, there's no eyewitness. Two, there's no confession that we've heard of. So the case is purely based on circumstantial evidence. But what it has made it a bit difficult for the accused is that he wore the clothes of the deceased.
Mahungela is back in court on Friday. This is another busy day in the courts as the Northwest's alleged insurance killer, Sekgomotsi Agnes Setshwantsho, will be back for judgment on her bail application. The 49-year-old is facing charges of murder, fraud, and defeating the ends of justice for killing her relatives for insurance payouts. Setshwantsho is also being investigated for the deaths of more of her family members. It is alleged that she took out policies for at least 40 members of her extended family with several insurance companies. A decision on Setshwantsho's bail is pending in the case investigated by Surgeon Keshi Mabunda, who nailed serial killer Rosemary Ndlovu. The onus lies on Setshwantsho's shoulders to prove exceptional circumstances that permit her release on bail.
We're not entertaining bail because we're in strong opposition of bail being granted to her, looking at the seriousness of this case. But we've also discovered that those relatives are relatives of her deceased husband. They're not necessarily her relatives, so we can't bank on that when she visits Botswana, she'll be going to those relatives. It could be a way out of South Africa to wherever else where she'll be eluding.
Monday will see the return of the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, with the lead investigator, Brigadier Bongani Gininda, still on the stand testifying in the trial within a trial. Gininda is the head of the National Cold Case Unit that nabbed the 5 accused for the 2014 murder of the former Bafana soccer star. The case started anew in July last year and has heard evidence from numerous witnesses, including 3 that were in the house at the time of the shooting. Several witnesses have also testified in the trial within a trial, where the court is hearing arguments on whether or not accused number 1 and 2 in the case made confessions freely and voluntarily. This year will mark 10 years since Senzo Meyiwa was killed, with a conviction yet to be made.
There's been a number of witnesses after the second trial. Remember, the trial started in Novo, so the new judge came in. But when the new judge came in, there was so much speed and much in how the witnesses were called. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think it's less than 15 witnesses that we've seen. It's just that now, obviously, there was a trial within a trial, which had to be done, and then we will see how things will go from there on. So I see this year, at least towards September, there might be a lot of progress happening, because it's been a case that happened in 2014. So now it's 10 years later. People do want to see justice.
Who could forget what was undeniably 2023's biggest crime story, the Thabo Bester prison escape case? Celebrity Dr. Nandipha Makudumana, her father Zolile Sekeleni, and their co-accused former G4S employees are facing charges of aiding and abetting the audacious jailbreak of rapist and murderer Bester, a story straight out of a movie scene. This case is back in court on the 21st of February for outcomes of a pre-trial conference. This will pave the way for the trial date to be set.
I do think there will be justice in this regard. One, the NPA, they've put one of the best prosecutors for their side to make sure that there's justice. But secondly, the fact that the NPA has read the dockets and they've decided that there are 3 people who are not really linked into this case and they release them, it shows that they look at all sides of the case, not just for the victims, but they look at the fact that do we have the right accused in the matter? And for them to say, we are not going to waste time and doing justice to these 3 accused, we'll release them. It shows that they are working hard and making sure that the right people are prosecuted. Whether they are found guilty or not will then depend on the evidence that will be provided by the state.
For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Mnisi in Johannesburg.